Hey guys, Stuart Mainly Vandas. Hope you're doing well today. So I'm sure if you guys know anything about Vandas or anything in orchids at all, then you have seen something like this. You've probably even seen something like this for sale at a show or a garage sale or somebody's house or something like that, or online. And you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, the price is only $20, $10. Should I buy that? You know, if you do see these nice flowers here, I mean, these are gorgeous flowers, but look at this plant. Should you buy this? You know, I've had this plant for a while. I was hoping it would turn around. It just hasn't. You know, this thing is on the other side of my yard. It is far, far, far away from my other orchids. This orchid is sick. You can tell that these roots, there are no active growing root tips on this orchid whatsoever, anywhere on this orchid. It has not grown a new root in probably a year, and it is time to go. Like I said, this is on the other side of my yard, and if you see something like this at a show or online, stay away from it. You do not want something like this, even though the flowers are absolutely beautiful. This thing is going to die. You're not going to be able to bring this back to life. You know, I've tried the last year, and it's just not going to happen, people. It may still bloom, it may still grow some, but this thing has not produced one new root in over a year. So it is going in the garbage. Here's another one I'm going to show you that you may say, oh my God, look at those beautiful flowers. But then you take a closer inspection and you see these leaves. Do you see that? That is Thai crud. Thai crud is almost damn near impossible to get rid of, okay? From experience. This is another plant that is on the other side of my yard, far, 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 far away from everything. I wanted it to bloom it at least once to see what it would look like. This was a plant that I inquired a while ago, and obviously, you know, it fell to the Thai crud disease, and you know, if you feel the Thai crud, it feels like a sandpaper almost on your plant. If you have that, it is nearly impossible to get rid of. You have to chop the leaves off, and you know, you can go from there, I guess, and spray with the fungicide, and you know, you can try to salvage it. But in this case, this plant is more than likely going to go in the trash as well. If it doesn't, it's going to stay on the far side of my yard, away from everything else. There's no way I'm going to bring this plant into my collection and have my other plants get this disease, because it won't go away. These leaves are ruined forever. So, you know, and the only bad thing about this disease is it will just keep going on to the new leaves. It will just keep going. It doesn't stop. It spreads very, 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 very fast. So, you know, those are a couple plants that are gonna go in the trash. So stay tuned. I'm gonna show you a healthy plant and what to look for when you're buying an orchid, especially a Vanda orchid. Okay, so hey guys, I got my box of latex gloves here. I always keep the box of latex gloves because when I handle any type of orchids that have diseases or anything like that, I want to protect my hands from handling the good orchids, because obviously I don't want to spread the disease. So I keep a large box of latex gloves around just for this. I sure as hell don't want to spread this stuff to my good orchids. You know, these are the ones that I bring to the shows, try to get awards on, and you know, I sure as hell don't want these things to get disease. So here is an orchid that I would have no hesitation in buying. Look at these roots. Look at these leaves. There's not a spot on these things anywhere. Flowers. So I'm going to go over the things you should be looking for. Number one thing I look for, well, you know, all these are very important, so it's not just one's more important than the other one, okay? So you always want to look for actively growing root tips, okay? You want to make sure the plant is producing green or red or sometimes a brown root tip at the end. You want to make sure they're actively growing, okay? And when they're watered, they should be a nice green looking color like this, okay? When they're dry, they can be more of a white color like this, or you know, sometimes they have algae on them. They could be, you know, look like they have algae on them. So obviously then you want to look at the leaves. You want to make sure these leaves are free of any type of black spots, any type of Thai crud, any other fungus that may be on there. I mentioned Thai crud a lot because that is very, very, very common among Vandas. You will see that at the show a lot, and some vendors really just don't care, to be honest with you. But you want to make sure, like I said, the roots are actively growing and these leaves are free of any type of black spots or anything like that. You also want to make sure at the tip, at the crown of the plant here, this is the crown where the new leaves come out, you want to make sure there's active growth coming out of there. There should always be active growth coming out of the crown. If you see that there's not an extra leaf coming out, or it seems like there's some debris or something in there, or the leaf will sometimes come out, then you have crown rot and the plant is not actively growing very well. Now, the flowers are in the eye of the beholder, obviously. You know, it all depends on what you like. You know, some people only buy certain types of flowers. You know, whatever catches my eye, that's what I buy. So you know, I like fragrant ones. I like big dinner plate ones. I like smaller ones. You know, I like this one in particular. It's an MV Tannins, Vanda MV Tannins. This is named. We had one of these hybrids awarded and got the pleasure of naming one. And so the whole hybrid is named MV Tannins. MV means mainly Vandas. Tannins, you know, the tannins leach out of the detritus that's in the rivers and turns the rivers a brownish color here in Central Florida and many other rivers for that matter. But one in particular, I grew up on the Wakaiva River here in Central Florida, so you know, that's where I got the name Tannins from, because I always used to go down there and play as a kid, and the water would always be, you know, a brownish color and whatnot from the tannins being leached out. So that's where I got that name. MV, obviously, mainly Vandas. So any type of orchid that I'm going to name, I'm going to try to put the MV in front of, and that will be able to differentiate, you know, anything that I name from anybody else. So anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and like it. Subscribe to my channel, and look at this beast. Whoa, it is awesome. Thanks, guys.